Okay, so it's Christmas morning and you're sitting by the tree eyeballing that new video game system you just got. But at the same time, you also want to see what Christmas special is playing on TV. Actually, that's probably not true. You probably just want to play video games. But for that one guy out there who wants to combine both, luckily there's Christmas Comes to Pac-Land. Pac-Man the Animated Series has the distinction of being the very first cartoon based on a video game. Running on ABC from 1982 to 1983, the show was packaged on Saturday morning with such other animated series as The Richie Rich Show and The Little Rascals. Then in its final run in 1983, it was paired with Rubik the Amazing Cube, a show so bad that Pac-Man, only lasting 44 episodes, can be blamed more on its pairing with Rubik than the disaster of the 1982 Atari game. Although the show only lasted 2 years, its influence can be seen in games such as Pac-Land and Pac-Man 2: The New Adventures, plus the series led rival CBS into creating its own video game series, Saturday Supercade. After cancellation, it ran in syndication on Cartoon Network, Boomerang, and the USA Network, and during the series' original run, it even spawned the holiday-themed Pac-Man Halloween Special and Christmas Comes to Pac-Land. It's still re-aired as part of Boomerang's Christmas Party block, which features other Hanna-Barbera specials, including Casper's First Christmas and Yogi's First Christmas, which could have been an alternate title for Christmas Comes to Pac-Land, because it is also about a cartoon character celebrating Christmas for the first time. Let's be honest, it was made to sell some games, in a series that raked up near $2.5 billion in quarters by the 1990s. So let's see how it holds up as a Christmas special. Santa and his 8 reindeer are gently walking through the night sky, though Rudolph isn't in front this time, which means one of the other reindeer is missing, or had to be eaten when flying through the mountains of Pac-Land. Santa is extra jolly this year as he gloats about his computerized Christmas list, though it's a work in progress as it's not alphabetized, and it got Tim Allen's name wrong, which is the last name Santa Claus needs to misspell. We meet Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man making some ghost snowmen, because when you live in what is technically a ghost town, just have fun with it. Unless your son tries eating you.
Oh, no!
I guess he's dead. Okay, he's not really dead, but I firmly believe Pac-Baby was about to eat them.
Yes, sir. My kid's a real chump off the old block.
You'll find that chomp is a very common word in this series, which, considering that the game had no real talking in it, I guess it needed some kind of catchphrase aside from waka 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 waka. They say it at least 2 more times in the next minute.
Oh, what fun it is to chomp
On Pac-Man every day. It's them Pac creeps.
Yeah, and now would be a perfect time to chomp 'em.
Christmas is especially the right time of year to chomp, considering that the ghosts, as well as everyone else, gain about 10 pounds over the holidays. Oh, but they're not just ghosts.
The ghost monsters!
When there's ghosts chasing you, do you also have to specify that they are ghost monsters? Plus, they have names. I'm not really sure why the ghosts have such a hard time catching the Pac family. All they really need to do is just wait for them to accidentally kill themselves, like falling off of a cliff, and then feast on their bodies. Then again, this is an 80s cartoon, so our heroes are fueled by a lot of drugs.
Wait, we're in luck. There's an emergency power pellet box. Oh, it's empty.
Okay, power pellets, which if you remember from the game, turn the ghosts blue in order for Pac-Man to eat them. But when you transfer it over into a cartoon, it's kinda like Underdog's energy pills. Which means this is a cartoon about people addicted to speed.
We may not have any power pellets, but we got plenty of snowballs.
And snowballs also probably means more cocaine. Luckily, they get their power pellets for this speed-fueled massacre that you're about to see.
Well, maybe you haven't read my new warning. It's right here.
Oh, don't do it. He's gonna eat you.
I can't read the fine print.
This is an addition I quite enjoy. In the video game, whenever a ghost would be eaten, you would typically hear this sound effect. But in the show, it's more like one of these. Yes, bones crunching, teeth gnashing, organs savoring, chomping. And that's when the ghosts aren't randomly pulling things out of their ass. The one thing that will be affected is that this little tussle between Pac-Man and the ghosts has thrown Santa off his course and... Well, the conflict seems to be Pac-Man's fault, and Santa appears to be dead, which is a phrase I'm used to saying on this website. So far you may have recognized some prominent voice actors in the show, such as Peter Cullen, Frank Welker, Marty Ingalls, and not to mention... That's right, the part of the reindeer will be played by a horse. Or Frank Welker doing a horse. Thank God the snow is covering up the blood from this massacre. Since Santa Claus has never been to Pac-Land, everyone assumes he's an alien.
Pac-Man power pellets! An invader from Mars!
Martians are the only excuse as to why there'd be a sled in the snow. Unfortunately, Santa can't leave just yet on account of his reindeer needing to be put down.
What you need is a warm fire and some power pellet cocoa.
He beat me to it. I was just going to suggest that Santa needed some amphetamines. Already he's had enough power pellets to spend the rest of the night with his pants off. Normally in these specials we have to wait until the end to know about the true meaning of Christmas. But since I don't see Charlie Brown's Christmas tree or Whoville anywhere, let's get all of that over with in the first 8 minutes.
You've never heard of Christmas? Why, it's the most wonderful time of the year. It's the season of giving and receiving, a time of peace on earth and goodwill towards man.
And something about Jesus. I think the ghosts have a better idea. Payback against the people who didn't get them jack shit.
I'm getting sick and tired of that Pac nerd always getting the best of us.
Yeah, what we need is a taste of sweet revenge.
You don't think calling him Pac-Nerd is enough to hurt his feelings? They do have some good ideas. A net would probably help catch Pac-Man, as well as some chocolate sauce to slow him down. And I'm starting to realize why Santa has never visited Pac-Land. They're all cannibals.
And then we can chomp all over him, like this.
It's a little disturbing here as they try putting his chewed skin back on him as if Leatherface accidentally ran over one of his masks with a lawnmower. And then the dog does something so kids will buy toys of it. I don't care. Let's get back to the ghosts, who find Santa's missing bag of toys, something which brings them non-murderous forms of happiness. Yet I'm still supposed to think of them as the villains. In terms of toys, it was a popular year for a doll, part of a train, crayons, and a shitload of yo-yos.
Ha ha! We struck it rich!
I wouldn't be so sure. The show Holmes and Yo-Yo lasted about as long as Pac-Man the Animated Series, and it didn't even have a real yo-yo in it. But God forbid the ghosts be happy about something.
Oh, no! The ghost monsters have found Santa's sack of toys! We've got to figure a way to get it back!
Yeah, fuck the ghosts for having a little bit of happiness this year. I know those aren't their toys, but it's a magic bag. Santa can pull whatever the hell he wants out of it. Give the ghosts some trick cereal, goddammit. Alright, let's watch Pac-Man and his dog Chomp Chomp take away all the joy the ghosts have received this year. Ever notice that Chomp Chomp the dog sounds a little bit more like video game Pac-Man than animated Pac-Man does? They're even taking back Game, and I love Game. It's my favorite in the Game series. But the ghosts seem to have a little bit of fight in them.
Let's chomp them.
Oh, I gotta stay through the commercials. I gotta find out if they're really gonna eat him or not. Which in this cartoon is entirely possible. I'll tell you what else is possible. They're gonna use the word chomp again.
The mighty Pac-Man thought he could sneak up and chomp on us, did he?
Yeah!
Come on, let's quit wasting time and chomp on his bones.
Because chewing on his bones is when we'll know that he's for sure dead. Someone quick, get him a pretzel.
Quick, Chomp Chomp! Get the toys! Don't worry about me!
He didn't look worried about you, he looked pissed at you for getting him into this mess. And why would he name the dog Chomp Chomp, the word that they use whenever they're about to eat something? That's like me naming Lloyd Delicious. Plus, I think they might be in the Mafia.
That good-beloved Pac-Up ditched us!
Yeah, well, Pac-Man didn't.
Oh...
Did they just break his limbs? Why didn't this happen sooner? That would have made the kill screen come so much quicker in that game. Well, the dog cures his mangled bones with slobber made of methamphetamines, probably, while Santa sits around looking fine enough to do all of this stuff by himself. The reindeer looks sicker than Santa does.
Well, your temperature's okay, Rudolph, but your warning light's still flickering.
Because that's not where you stick the thermometer. I think we're mere minutes away from Pac-Man cutting open Chomp Chomp and keeping warm inside of him. And this special has finally sold me. I want that clock. They're trying to make it back in time for Santa's deadline, and considering that kids once accepted an empty box as a gift, I think they'll understand his tardiness.
Looks like we saved Christmas for you after all!
I'm afraid not.
Oh, never mind. Pac-Man may have made it back safely, but we are dealing with the most glasses half empty Santa Claus ever put in a Christmas special.
It's just too late.
It's also too late to draw any backgrounds in most of these shots.
This is the first Christmas I've missed in all of history.
Oh yeah? I can think of some Christmases between 1939 and 1945 that you might have missed. In order to get Santa back in time, Pac-Man has an ace up his sleeve, but the ghosts rightfully want their toys back.
I know it'll never work, but I've got to try to reason with them.
Pac-Man is also quite racist against ghosts. But in case you missed it the first time, here's what Christmas is all about, again.
Christmas. It's a time for spreading joy throughout the world. It's a time for warmth and brotherly love.
Yeah, Christmas. It's that thing you just found out about tonight. These ghosts will chomp the fuck out of you and play around with your bones, but the second you mention that some complete stranger won't get their dolls, yo-yos, or crayons, the waterworks turn on. I'd say Christmas has been saved.
I don't know what you've got in mind, Pac-Man, but it's just no use. I might as well face it.
Santa doesn't give a damn what they have in mind. He is perfectly resigned to the fact that they have all failed. Well, that's only because he hasn't heard of the Power Pellet Forest, with ecstasy as far as the eyes can see.
I've never seen Rudolph's nose glow so bright.
Wait till you see it with a dollar bill shoved up it once he learns to grind up some of those power pellets. The power of drugs has boosted even Santa's mood as they're well on their way to continue delivering all through Christmas, leaving Pac-Man and his family to exchange the gifts that Santa left behind for them. But none for the ghosts, because fuck them, let them freeze to death. Okay, here's a little something for the ghosts. A nice femur bone with a little bit of meat dangling from the end.
Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good chum.
Again, I don't know if this show has found the perfect use for that word, seeing how Santa just worked it into "to all a good night," even though it appears as if he's suggesting that we all eat our enemies. This must be the year that Santa delivers a gift to Ed Gein and then flies away and says, "To all a good barbecue." What's there not to like about this special? It's a town filled with people who simply want to eat each other, and if they don't have the energy to move at all, then clearly the only answer is drugs, drugs, and a lot more drugs. While a lot of cartoon characters were telling you to say no to drugs in the 80s, Pac-Man was the one with balls big enough to tell you to just say yes. I'm glad that Pac-Man has discovered what Christmas is. That way he can spend his money on something a little less addicting than power pellets. Although given the then current releases of both Pac-Man and E.T. for the Atari 2600, they may have picked the wrong time for it to be their first Christmas. They'll be trading in those games for more power pellets in no time. Merry Christmas.